Welcome to the Homeownership podcast presented by Momentum Realty, located in Hanover, Massachusetts. This series covers all things real estate and the best practices for buying, selling, and owning properties. Now here's your host, Sean Maloney.
Welcome to episode 171, 5 Ways to Win a Bidding War. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Thanks for joining me this week. This week I want to talk to you guys about the all-popular bidding war. Some people get themselves up in so much angst about how to win a bidding war, why to win the bidding war, but sometimes we want to remember that winning isn't winning when you buy something at the wrong price. But today we're going to break down 5 things that you can pay attention to when it comes to winning the war. First off, let's start with the obvious one, price. It's just one part of the equation though. There are several other factors that go into winning a bidding war, but sometimes the bottom line wins it. Ultimately, what should we be doing to make the right price? Well, as a real estate agent, we're going to advise our client and tell them about what we think the best price is. So what we're going to do is a reverse comparative market analysis. We're going to look at it as if we're trying to sell the home. We're going to say, what would I price this house at? Then we're going to look at the pulse of the local market. How heavy is it? What's going on? Then we're going to look at the local averages. In that price range, what are houses selling at? Are they selling at 100%? Are they selling at 102%? Maybe we see everything selling at max 106, so we know in order to win, we go 107%. That's stuff that we want to look at in pricing theory, but remembering that just paying the most amount of money can lead to a loss win. Like you won, but later on in life you decide, oh, I lost. Never saying that bidding the most is a bad thing, but always paying attention to do the numbers work for your future? Are you going to be where you need to be? And that's why you want to have a professional agent help you out. Next, letting someone know that they can move on the move-out date that they want is priceless. Imagine if you have a whole family, or you've got a bunch of pets, or you're a hoarder, or you've got school to finish and you're moving cross-country. When someone allows you to move on the day that you need to move, it saves you a ton of money, a ton of time, and a ton of frustration. Picture just trying to take a house of 5 and moving them somewhere temporary for a few weeks. How much would it cost and how difficult would it be? All your stuff in storage, you and your family living out of a hotel, all these different things that would need to go on. So ultimately listening to the seller and when they want to move is huge, because if the seller is building a new home and they're moving there and there's a month and a half left to building it, they don't really love the 15-day offer. Maybe because you're paying the most amount of money, they might try to figure out a way to finagle it to work. But think about it like this. How much money would 3 weeks really cost that family of 5? So we're talking 2 hotel rooms in the Boston metro area. We're talking at minimum $250 a night each. So that's $500 a night for 3 weeks, which that's $3,500 a week. 7 plus another 10,500. So you could have bid $5,000 more and be actually losing quite significantly here. So you can see how those dates add up. And that was just talking about the hotel room. How about all the meals out to eat? How about all the stuff in storage? How about everything that was temporary needed to buy? All the different things that you didn't have that you bought another one of. It's amazing how much money you can spend when you're in temporary housing because you're trying to figure out how to make life work, especially when you have a large family or lots of pets. Next, waiving the right to a home inspection, it can be very risky, but it also can be very reassuring to the seller. Now, we never suggest someone waives a home inspection. Why? Because honestly, you should have a home inspection. And if you buy a house without the home inspection, me as an agent, I'm telling you, I really wish you had the home inspection. I know you want to win the house, but what if something's wrong? Now, if you're confident and the numbers work for you and little oopsie daisies aren't that big of a deal and you've got somebody in your family that's a contractor or something, maybe you have them buy, I don't know. But when you waive the home inspection, be careful. There's lots of different options. The Standard Massachusetts Association of Realtor contract to purchase actually has on it that if there's anything that was not satisfactory to you, that you have the right to actually renegotiate or walk away from the transaction, taking your deposit with you. Now, that's a pretty risky maneuver for a seller. Just one level up from there is saying that if we don't find XYZ amount of money, so say $5,000, so if there's not $5,000 worth of material defects uncovered by this inspection, then I'm willing to proceed forward. So that's one way of not waiving it, but just using a dollar amount. This is a separate addendum that we use that's subject to fixed costs. Really great way to keep your inspection, but give them more surety than the word satisfactory. Now, if you are waiving your home inspection, remember, when things go wrong after, it's going to be on you. There is no calling unfairness. The only time would be is if you find something where you know that seller lied to you based on the fact that maybe they had a service professional out before or things like that. Then you might have a court case. Then you might have a failure to disclose situation. But I'm going to admit, those are really difficult. So when you waive that home inspection, just remember, it comes with consequences. Or sometimes you go with the win and it goes perfectly fine. Now, the appraisal. A lot of people talk about the appraisal. The appraisal is when the person comes out and values the home. Typically, the bank, when you're doing a mortgage, is going to hire an appraiser to go out and tell them what it's worth. Now, when prices are skyrocketing and people are consistently offering more and more and more, when the appraiser goes to comp it out, which means find comparable properties to value it based on, they're looking at last week's data, all the solds that happened. Now, your sale is happening in the future as things continue to close. So waiving the appraisal is a way to tell the person, okay, I'm not going to walk away from this deal with my deposit. If the appraisal goes bad, I'm actually going to move forward. When waiving an appraisal, you want to talk with your mortgage professional, find out how much money you can actually afford, because you got to remember, when you waive the appraisal and it doesn't come in right, whatever it's off, your mortgage is actually going to need more of a down payment. You're going to have a higher payment possibly. So just remember, you need to check in with the mortgage professional when you're thinking about waiving your appraisal. If you're a cash buyer, you're welcome to waive the appraisal. The only risk would be you buy something too expensive, but if you're already okay with it, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, waiving an appraisal, can't advise you to or not, but remember, an appraisal is just a spot on the map. It's just saying on this very day, this is what this house was worth. The next day it could be worth more or less. So ultimately the appraisal is only used because the bank wants to make sure you're not buying property for too much money with their dollar. Next up, being creative with terms. This could be anything that you know the seller wants to hear. This could be literally anything. You could tell them that you're going to get them a car rental because they're hurting and they're moving out, and you give them a 36-month lease on you for a car. So now they're a little more secure and you seem like the compassionate person. You could tell them that you're going to buy them an ice cream party and you could give them a whole bunch of money for that. You could donate to their favorite charity. You could tell them that they don't have to leave the appliances by, that you'd be happy that they took them. We can do anything you want on an offer when it comes to what's okay and what's not okay. Just remember, the more creative you are, the more you stick out. And when you stick out, you tend to get accepted. Guys, there's no way to know whether you're going to win a bidding war or not. So calm down out there and let the world work the way it does. I've never met a person that didn't end up in the right house and that time didn't put them in the right place. Hope that helps you find the perfect house and win that bid this year. If you're not already working with one of our Move mentors, which is what we call our agency because we believe they're both a guide and a mentor in the process of buying, selling, and owning homes, then reach out to us. We'd love to pay you with one so that you can win that next bidding war and you can be that person posting that you got an accepted offer. Congratulations and have a great week. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to pound the subscribe button, and we look forward to talking to you next week.